Hello, everyone, and welcome to Valley Homes on TV. I'm Todd Flesner here along with Debbie and Giordano.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing great. Deb, yourself?
We're doing good, thanks.
Terrific. Well, thanks for tuning in to us here on Channel 26 in Milpitas.
And that's exactly who we have as a guest that's going to help shed some light on what a great city this is. In fact, did you know City of Milpitas was number, is it 27 out of top 50?
And that
in the
was,
United States,
I saw that. Yeah, that was in a magazine article not too long ago here.
Right.
In terms of one of the best places to live in the U.S.
Exactly.
Quality of life.
Exactly. So we have today Emma Carlin, who is our current Assistant City Manager here at the City of Milpitas, and she'll be able to answer our questions as to where the city has been, where it is today, and where it's going in the future. Welcome.
Terrific.
Well, thank you for having me today.
And thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule, and I know the city work is busy. So, well, Emma, let's start out. Tell us a little bit about your background, yourself, like where you grew up and where you were educated.
Sure. I actually grew up in Hong Kong. I came here as a teenager, and I was educated in, my undergrad degree was from Cal State Fresno, and I got my master's degree in business administration in University of British Columbia in Vancouver.
Okay.
And so that's my background, and we've been living in Milpitas since 1990. 92, actually.
Okay.
I live in Silicon Valley in 99.
And you have a couple daughters.
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
And they both attended Milpitas High.
Went to local schools here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. I've got Milpitas High grads as well.
He does too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of Milpitas and being involved in the community here, what is it that brought you to Milpitas? And maybe give us a little bit background about your work here now in the city manager's office.
Sure. My husband and I moved back from the East Coast. We're East Coast and moved back to California and back in 1990. We both started working. I started working for City of Santa Clara, and he got a job with Kaiser in Milpitas. So, and we were looking for houses and to buy, and we said, well, Milpitas is a really nice community. So that's where we, started our family here.
Probably affordable housing.
Yes.
If you're living in Santa Clara, it's much more affordable.
Yeah, that time was really affordable.
Yeah, great. And you live in a very nice little area there, nestled near the foothills.
Yes, it's really nice. I really enjoy living in Milpitas.
Well, we all love the hills here, right?
Exactly.
And well, now tell us a little bit about your work here at the City of Milpitas. What brought you here to the City of Milpitas, and tell us a bit about your background, actually, specifically with the city.
Okay, so I've been working for City of Santa Clara for about 8 years, and then in 1998 I was recruited, and I became the Assistant Finance Director here in Milpitas, and then I later on was promoted to Finance Director since 2001, so I've been holding that job since then, and last year I was promoted to Assistant City Manager, so that's my history with City of Milpitas. And as far as the role that I'm holding today, my goal is really, when you look at a city of this size, we have 70,000 population, so we're not exactly a small city anymore.
Right.
And for city manager, who is only one person trying to hold all the city together, administratively is a lot of work. So my goal is, first and foremost, to help him lessen his administration burden. And also, as a new assistant city manager, I want to learn new things as well, because there are areas, of course, I'm familiar with finance, but I want to learn different areas of the city operations. So I'm trying to gradually ease myself into planning and land use issues.
Yeah, that's exciting for you. But let's talk about your background then in finance. How is the city doing financially?
I think after a few years of war, we were experiencing any other cities did in this area, we finally emerged from this economic recession. It took a little bit of time because of the revenue, the way it came into the city. There's a little bit of lag time, but we're finally seeing some upturn in our economy. Our sales tax is doing okay, and our property tax is doing very well. So those are and as well as hotels tax, and these are the taxes that provide the city's revenue to
That's
run our
the
general
top leaders of
operation.
the
Yes.
revenue, okay.
Okay. Well, one of the kind of the big ticket items or things that's been in the news a lot has been the RDA, the redevelopment agency. How has the unwinding of that impacted the city and its spending and budget, and where are things headed in the future?
Well, first and foremost, the solution of RDA was really devastating to the city. And it came at a time when we were already experiencing economic downturn, so add insult to injury. So it was a really tough time for the staff as well as the city council to make major decisions that what we have to do in order to go through this period. And so it came at an opportunistic time, but I think that we're trying to finally get a good handle on it, and we've been, one RDA used to be able to finance a lot of our public improvement projects. The whole idea was to eliminate economic and physical blight of a city. So we certainly have a lot of projects that we require RDA funding, but that entire tool has been taken away from us. But in the last few years, we've been trying to very prudently, every time the council direct us, if you have any leftover revenue, you got to save it for capital improvement projects, make sure our streets are looking good, our parks are looking good. So we've been slowly doing that. I think we have found a handle of that. As a matter of fact, just most recently, because of the low interest rate environment, and we went out to do refunding of our RDA bonds, which is a huge deal. We have about $150 million outstanding. And with that refunding, and we just got the pricing today, and so I'm pretty excited to share, we were able to save $27 million from the whole taxing entities. I mean, now back in the good old days, we have the RDA, that $27 million would have been entirely RDA saving. But now we share with all the taxing entities, but we still get a share of it. We get about 16% of it. So that's still $4.some million in savings
What
to
a
the
nice,
city.
nice bonus. Well, let's look at the city manager's office in general. So, city manager's office manages the employee groups. So, how many employees do we have today? I know, I think in the top we had over 500 employees, and I'm sure it's considerably less. And how does the city manager's office manage that workload and provide services for the community?
We have been working very lean. I mean, we used to have 500 employees, but nowadays we only have 320 employees. And we've been managing very effectively. But what I feel that what is lacking is that because of a lean workforce, everybody is working very hard. I mean, I give credit to everybody. All the department heads, including city manager, we're all working manager. We're not just thinking, oh, maybe this is. But I think at some point we do need to have, other than just dealing with the day-to-day operation, reacting to what's coming to us, we need to have long-term plan. We need to have the vision and long-term thinking of where are we going as a city. So I think that once we have a little bit more resources, we need a little bit help in that sense, whether it's through consultant doing a long-term plan, or whether we can have more employees who can, really help us out with the workload.
Okay.
So you talk about long-term plans. I mean, where does the city stand with that now? I mean, there's got to be some sort of a long-term plan in place. Is it time really to come back and revisit that because conditions have changed, or what's the thought process on that?
Absolutely. We actually, as a city, have many long-term plans. We have a general plan, we have a zoning plan, and we also have, just recently, going through a long-term strategic planning.
Right.
This is really a very important plan because as a city, we need to know where we're going, but it's not just create something from the vacuum. We need to know, involve citizens, because we're in a community where the citizens are, and providing service is very important. And we need to know where they're going. So the long-term plan start out with, contacting various commission, citizens can provide input to tell us what you want to see, where is the city going. Once we have this kind of higher vision, goal, and mission, then now we need to develop, narrow down into some objectives. How do we actually implement this in order to accomplish this? So this is where we're working on right now. I think that we're wrapping up this in the next few months, and I think the City Council would have a chance to, provide input to the final product of this long-term plan.
One of the places where homeowners come in and visit City Hall is to get a building permit.
Yes.
Or, for an addition or some kind of extra building onto their homes. How efficient is our department, and any changes going on in the building department that you know of?
I think it's absolutely efficient. I mean, we are one of the more efficient city with our building services. Homeowners who want to do smaller, such as remodeling, water heater, roofing, implementation of solar panel, they can actually apply a lot of these permits online. Not only they can look at it online, they actually have step-to-step guide on we have a lot of resources online provided by our building department. So they can look at it and be able to figure out how to do it. So it's really very efficient. And because of that, we're very competitive. I know that, for example, for solar panel, many cities have it, but they're more costly. But because we're able to do it online, we save a lot of effort upfront, and we're able to provide it very inexpensively.
That's great.
Good. Well, how about future growth or development here in the city? Where are things headed in that regard in terms of, I know we've had a lot of residential development, particularly high density. Is that a trend we're going to continue to see? How about commercial? We're seeing some redevelopment of some traditional commercial.
And BART coming in.
And BART. And so kind of what's the scene in terms of development here in Milpitas for the midterm looking forward?
Well, I think that we certainly will still continue to have a lot of residential housing development because it's inevitable. We're in the middle of Silicon Valley, and their population, they all have to pay house somehow. They have to live somewhere. But I think our goal is, with the BART coming, we want to tie that together. We want to be able to utilize it, BART as a means of transportation to lessen the traffic congestion we have. We want to develop new high-density housing where it's located next to the BART so that people can take advantage of their transportation without having to drive their vehicles. So we'll see a lot of residential coming in, especially in the transit area. But outside of it, we also have some other residential development, but not high-density kind of housing. As far as commercial, we're hoping to get more big company coming in, and we actually, as far as I know, there's still the plan to develop the Pacific Mall in the McCaffrey area, and which is a new concept of commercial area, and so we're looking forward to see that.
And the city manager hired a new economic development director,
Exactly,
and working in your department and helping to facilitate that process too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So let's look at citizens or residents are always concerned about other services that they can get, not just parks and the streets and all that. Library, senior center. Senior center's fairly new, and we've got some great buildings and great community center office services. Tell us about any plans for any future services in that area, or just going to maintain what we've got going now?
We're going to maintain what we have because what we have is very good. For example, in the seniors center, we open 5 days a week. We provide various kind of programs. There's case management, it's kind of like a social service to help the seniors. There are a senior nutrition program which provide nutrition lunch to them.
There's bingo, I know.
There's bingo.
My parents go to bingo.
There's
so.
events, special events. So, and in classes, I mean, they're painting, dancing classes.
social activities and
It's
education.
wonderful. As far as the library, I think it's just the most precious thing that we have in Milpitas. It's a very well-used library, highly circulated. That means we have a lot of books that are, books or video that are being borrowed. And because if it's a joint JPA, it's a joint authority library, that we have a system of 9 libraries is run by the county. So that means the materials that are available to the city is tremendous because we can borrow from each other. So those are just library material, but other than that, they have a lot of programs going on. They have online tutoring, literacy program, children's reading program. So a lot of things going on. It's a wonderful.
What a great asset to the community.
Good. Well, you talked a little earlier about being kind of lean and mean on the staff end, and one of the areas where there's some retooling with that was in the whole area of some of our maintenance and parks and some of those sort of things. Can you maybe update folks about how that program is going and how's that been implemented?
Well, our parks are maintained by outside companies, and they are actually being maintained very well. I mean, as far as we know that we got good comments from our citizens, so that the maintenance part is going very well. And then also in terms of our long-term maintenance, there are plans to the council will come up to in March to see that there are plan to do a long-term maintenance plan of the football of the fields, the sports field, and so we're going to start out with, I believe, Hall Park, and then Sports Center, and eventually Dixon field. So those fields are well used, and we need to maintain them in the long term.
Okay, how about other issues that might affect homeowners, like street trees? If their tree falls or they need it maintained, is they call the city for that? And
Yes.
also public works, those two areas.
Yes, absolutely. If they have problem with street trees, they should contact Public Works, and there's a number that they can look up online to contact. And also we have this wonderful mobile app. If they see anything that is not even at their home, if they have the cell phone with them, they can just simply download that site, the mobile app, and take a picture, and then we can identify where the location is, and then people will come out and
So
take care of it.
Milpitas has a smartphone app that you
Yes.
can download.
Yes.
All right. Need to do that then, folks, so that,
Mm-hmm.
and then the city will respond to
Yes.
those requests that
Yes.
the citizens
Okay.
have. That's great. That's great use of technology.
Yes, and that's developed by our IS department on their own.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about the strategic plan and kind of the process for that. How about some other visions for the future, or goals that you have in the city manager's office?
Well, I think that the immediate goal is to expand our economic base. I think that we want to have a job and housing balance, because now that we have residential, we also want to make sure that we have jobs in this area, to make sure that our citizens don't have to travel too fast to go to work. So to expand our economic base, and that's why we have an economic development manager. I think that's very important to the city, to have this kind of balance, and certainly we can bring in more revenue to the city to continue to grow and be, a nice city to live in.
Great. Well, Emma, we want to thank you very, very much. And again, we are fortunate here at the city to have such expertise of your level, and to be able to work in the city manager's office and oversee all that. How about if we give folks the city's website address?
Okay.
Put it up there.
It's www.ci.milpitas.ca.gov.
Got
Okay, great. And I'm assuming that folks can download that app from the website as well?
Yes, there should be instruction there.
Super. Well, thank you for
Terrific.
your time.
Thank
Okay,
you.
You're welcome.
We're the rise to every challenge type. The nothing is impossible type. The type that knows the time will come when we put type 1 behind us. We're the plan for a cure type. The improved life along the way type. The type that will stop at nothing until type 1 becomes type none.
All of us want to make a difference. As veterans, we committed to protect our country. We served and sacrificed for the things that mattered most. Those experiences shaped our lives, even if it isn't always obvious to those around us. And now that we've served, our commitments have taken on a new meaning. We're husbands, wives, parents, friends, and neighbors, but sometimes we still feel alone. We forget that our biggest challenge can be to ask for support when we need it. The Veterans Crisis Line is here for all veterans, service members, and their loved ones. Dial 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Chat online at veteranscrisisline.net or text 838-255. It matters.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No?
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Through the years, trends and styles may come and go, but the important things remain the same. Generation after generation, consistently there, creating moments and memories to last a lifetime. Like a true friend, the national parks have always been there for you, and now you can be there for them. Support the National Park Foundation and help protect America's treasured places.
Welcome back to Valley Homes on TV. I'm Debbie Giordano along with Todd Flesner. And we've had some exciting guests here recently. So.
We certainly have. You know, we're fortunate to get a chance to meet and talk with a lot of folks around town, and hope that our viewers enjoy that as well.
I hope so too. Like you said, it makes Milpitas a nice place to live, and certainly keeps property values up. So
It does.
So, how's your business going?
You know, it's been busy since the first of the year. We've had a very nice environment with interest rates. Rates have been near their all-time lows, and so that's spurred a lot of activity, both with folks who are looking to get into the real estate market. They see it as a good opportunity as affordable, but also with refinancing. I've had a flurry of folks who've inquired about refinancing, so it's a great time if you have a loan.
Still below 4%.
Yeah, we're still in the high to mid threes, depending upon the loan program. And of course, everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different, but rates are absolutely outstanding. So, helping a lot of folks these days take advantage of the real estate and interest rate market.
Super. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you've been busy.
Well, likewise, I think.
I've been working every weekend. Open houses are highly trafficked. I get anywhere from 75 to 100 groups through, per open house on the weekend, and multiple offers. Depending upon where you list the home, you can definitely expect multiple offers above list. I don't have numbers, and folks will tune into us next month. We should have the updated MLS numbers so we can see that delta between 1 year in terms of pricing. But I would venture we're at least 100 to 125,000 higher than this time last year, and it's rising rapidly. We saw a big increase. For some reason, the month of January just went off the chart, and it's due to the demand and low inventory. So.
Correct, and I think what we've been seeing is high teens to low 20s in terms of the percentage of increase in values over the last year or so,
right.
In property values.
Definitely,
So,
and people wonder, when is it going to stop, and is it a good time to sell, and to maximize their profit. But I think every case is. Everybody can look at their case individually. If they're relocating out of the area, that may be the time to sell, not turn their home into a rental. It just depends on the needs of each family. So.
Well, that's the important thing is that you take a look at the specific situation, right, and get the right advice and right help in terms of helping to analyze that, so you understand what your options are.
Right.
And turning to the services of a professional to help with that is a pretty wise thing to do.
I think so, yes.
Good. Anything else that you have that's going on in the real estate market that you've got to share with folks?
Actually, just Carol Rodini gave a little class a couple months ago, and then I found an article of hers in the California Association Realtor magazine. And she said, they asked the question, the Bay Area market is hot. Is it still a seller's market, and will continued growth be the same for 2015? She says that the market is more balanced between buyers and sellers. And, I would say that to some degree, but she says it's a good, healthy market, but demand remains high, though, in our Bay Area. And real estate is localized. You
Absolutely.
cannot look at what's going on here statewide. You've got to look at what the economy and everything that is going on locally here to determine where the market's going. And I would say we're in for probably another 10 to 20% increase over the next year.
Well, you talk about localized. I mean, even here within the Bay Area, within regions here in the Bay Area, it's very different. Here in Silicon Valley, Milpitas, North Bay Area, it's different than if you're on the peninsula per se,
Right.
or in Los Gatos or the hills.
And Todd, I thought this was an interesting question that they posed to Carol. What the real estate market will look like in 2015. She says the revolution is coming. Our market today is a consumer-driven one. In other words, consumers today, whether they have stock options or they've got assets, they want a certain product. They want to live in a certain community. They want the schools for their kids, and they're willing to pay those prices. And so that is really driving the fuel in the train of our local real estate market, is just the consumer and their need to get what they want.
Well, and Milpitas is a very attractive place for folks to live. You talk about schools. You talk about the being a safe community for folks to raise their families. It's a very welcoming place for folks to come.
And centrally located for commuting, as we talked about with the assistant city manager.
Right, and with Bart coming into into Milpitas as well, we'll have even greater access to more of the region.
Right, I couldn't agree with you more. Well, I guess that's kind of it for now. We'll kind of wrap that up. I wish I had numbers, but I will definitely have those. Promise, we'll have them up on the website next month, and keep your business going good. Do you want to give contact information to folks?
Sure. Email is tflesner@opusadvisors.com.
Okay. And any questions about the show or anything else there relative to real estate? I'm Giordano DJ at AOL.com. So
Great.
Great. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time on Valley Homes on TV.